All right, let's talk about student loan forgiveness. A lot of news happening today on Capitol Hill. So Elizabeth Warren, today, this is a big day for her. There's a big hearing today. Elizabeth Warren is going to hold a key hearing today on student loan debt and its impact on racial justice, student loan borrowers, and the economy. That's the hearing. Now, this is Elizabeth Warren's first hearing as the chair of the Senate Banking Committee. Right now, think about this. This is a big deal because we know the inequality in student loans. We know I've brought you the stories of how people of color in the United States are adversely affected. They have way more student loan debt than white people. And it's because of a lot of the predatory lending practices that happen at historically black universities. And people of color looking to lift their family out of poverty are disproportionately affected by the allure of college. Like, hey, why don't you have your son be the first son in your first child in your family, first person in your family to go to college, right? And so yes, I will. I'm going to go massively into debt to do it, to make sure that my child is the first person in this family that can go to college. And they're sold that bill of goods, and it's sickening. And they're just raking in all kinds of profits, these predatory colleges. It's time in the United States for us to end this. Free public college, we need it. Europeans are not saddled with debt. I mean, this is ridiculous. You can become a lawyer or a doctor in Europe and have zero student loan debt. Not in the United States. So President Biden has been fishing around on this. Where is he going to come down on $50,000 in student loan forgiveness? We'll get there in a second. But right now, remember on the first day of his presidency, Biden enacted immediate student loan relief for millions of student loan borrowers. No federal student loan payments are owed right now. No interest will accrue on your federal student loans. No student loans in default will be collected. So that is through the end of September. So you have 9 months of this pause right now.
Well, and a lot of people always ask when you talk about this, is that you have to be sure that you understand it's only federal loans. Only federal are affected by any of this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the private colleges, unfortunately. So any of these federal student loans, but it's no small thing. They account for $1.7 trillion of debt that how many of you right now in the chat, let me know, how many of you have student loan debt? Heidi Levinson says, my daughter is the first to go to college in our family. She got high honors scholarship. There you go. Excuse me. Like my wife, she got a scholarship. I did not. I went into student loan debt to go to the University of Pittsburgh. And I know my parents did too. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, so you want to make sure your kids can go to college. Like I had a great college experience. I learned a heck of a lot. But is it worth going into $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in debt for a degree you may or may not ever use? That's what so many people do. They feel pressured to go into this system. And then they come out with a degree that they're not using and a massive amount of debt. And it sets them back 20 years.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people saying it. $75,000 in debt, $90,000 in debt, $42,000, $17,000. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of people in student loan debt.
Listen to this. Is it Idalia Rollins? Idalia says, I still have student debt. I'm 65. Interestingly, at this committee hearing today, or this hearing, a couple of people who are on the Senate Banking Committee had also defaulted on their loans. They're members of Congress, and they had massive student loan debt to the point of having to default on a loan at one point. So they understand. The question is, and the big news is that President Biden over the past few days has been meeting with officials and has shown encouragement and moving towards the $50,000 in student loan forgiveness mark. So that's positive news out of the Biden administration, $50,000 in student loans. So today we are going to get some news out of this committee on student loans and student loan forgiveness. So keep it here, because tomorrow right here on the show, that's why you got to subscribe to the channel. Turn on that little bell notification, because tomorrow here on the show, we're going to have a follow-up from this committee hearing to find out any more news on student loans, and we'll dive into that. We'll hear from Elizabeth Warren as well on the show tomorrow.